More now on how MPs have accused Jeremy Corbyn of failing to provide consistent leadership in tackling anti-Semitic abuse within the Labour Party. A report by the Home Affairs Select Committee questioned whether the Labour leader fully appreciates the nature of anti-Semitism.
We are saying in the report that Jeremy Corbyn, for the sake of his party or political parties and the problems of anti-Semitism in society, needs to take this much more seriously, and I'm afraid he's still in denial. There is a particular problem within the Labour Party of anti-Semitism at the moment, and just continuing to be in denial about it does not help anybody.
I want to discuss this further. I'm joined from Westminster by Joe Glasman, who is the head of political investigations at the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism. Hello to you. Well, we've just heard from the Conservative MP Tim Loughton, who was on the committee. Perhaps not surprising that a Conservative MP is criticising Labour's stance on anti-Semitism, but there were some Labour MPs who put their names to this report as well, weren't they? And it's pretty scathing.
Yeah, it was an all-parliamentary group. And their findings were. I noticed that Tim talked about earlier about the fact that Mr. Corbyn doesn't seem to understand post-Second World War anti-Semitism. The report also recommends that secondary school pupils should receive an education in that, and perhaps the first pupil into the classroom should be Jeremy Corbyn. He clearly really does not understand it. In fact, when he sat in front of the Home Affairs Select Committee, he tried to define anti-Semitism himself, and he did a very, very bad job of it. The reason this report is so important is its central recommendation is that the government formally endorse the international definition of anti-Semitism. And as you know, he and Baroness Chakrabarty produced a report which had no definition in it. And if you don't have a definition of anti-Semitism, you can't identify it, and therefore you can't act on it. And this is the core weakness of his position at the moment.
It's interesting that you mentioned the Baroness Chakrabarty investigation into anti-Semitism. She has also criticised it in this report, saying that her conclusions were clearly lacking and the fact that she was given a peerage undermines her investigation. She, of course, is now the Shadow Attorney General for Labour. Do you think that she should be able to continue in that position?
I don't want to comment on the internal politics of the Labour Party, but I think, and we have said quite clearly, that the report was a whitewash. We're talking about a human rights lawyer, somebody concerned with, through liberty, with freedom of expression, who's produced a report that really is worthy of a repressive regime. There is no definition for anti-Semitism, there's no transparency, we don't know who's being charged, when and what judgment has been given in their cases. So it's really, I think really the only route out of this for Labour is if the government actually adopt, as they've said formally, these recommendations to use the international definition, which is endorsed already by this country and many other countries in the United Nations, and that it's applied to our institutions, because we also have problems with the CPS, which is one of the weaknesses in the report. We need all our institutions and political parties to adopt it, and may I say the other political parties as well need to do it.
Now, Jeremy Corbyn has put out a statement in response to this report in which he says that under his leadership, Labour's taken more action against anti-Semitism than any other party. Now, he can't really be blamed, can he, for what individual trolls are saying on Twitter?
I think when he uses the word anti-Semitism, he doesn't understand the word anti-Semitism. I think that's the starting point from which we need to understand that. But the report does mention Twitter, and in a separate section, and Twitter really is a problem. What we've discovered at the campaign is that Twitter is a place where people from the far left, from the far right, and from Islamist factions can all get together globally and agree that they hate the Jews, and that they hate the Jews for the same reasons. It's caused an explosion in anti-Semitism. We're extremely concerned about it. It's very distressing. And one of the problems is that the CPS is not acting on that, which is one of the places that we would disagree with the report's findings.
Joe Glasman, thank you for your thoughts on the report by the Home Affairs Select Committee.